Good morning. It is a beautiful day here in North Carolina. It's 23 degrees, the sun is out, and today I'm going to talk about 5 species of birds that you can only photograph in the winter in North Carolina. So come along and enjoy this adventure. Well, we're very fortunate here in North Carolina. In this fall, when our tropical birds migrate south for the winter, in the wintertime we have birds that migrate here to escape the cold from the northern part of the United States and into Canada. And one of these birds that migrate to North Carolina is the brown creeper. This bird is a small brown streaked bird. It has a clear chest, it has a small bent bill, and it makes its living by probing the bark of trees looking for insects. Now, this bird prefers mixed hardwood forests. It will be found in a forest like the one that's behind me right here, and they are an uncommon bird here in North Carolina. They are a solitary bird. I think one of the reasons why they are hard to find is because they are a solitary bird, where normally if a bird flocks up with other birds, you usually see the flock moving through the forest. But one trait of this bird here is it only climbs up a tree, and what it will do is get to a certain point and then it will flutter down to another tree, resembling a leaf falling to the ground. It's an exciting bird to see. To tell you the truth, it's a bird that I wasn't aware of that existed only until a couple of years ago. And I think one of the reasons why I'm attracted to this bird and so excited when I see it is because of that. Well, if you stay to the end of the video, I'm going to give you a bonus bird to find here in North Carolina. Number 2 is the winter wren. Winter wren is a solitary bird that makes a living by probing into dead and rotten material looking for insects. This bird will be found low to the ground. It usually associates with either a down stump or a bushes. But like I said, it's a solitary bird. It's a bird that can be difficult to find. They are very rare here in North Carolina. They have a huge range, and they are not associated with an area. They don't create a territory here in North Carolina, so they will be in a fairly large area that is undefined. They can be difficult to find, but if you're in a mixed hardwood forest like this is definitely a bird that you should spend some time looking for, because they can be an exciting bird to find. Bird number 3 is the ruby-crowned kinglet. This is a fairly common bird here in North Carolina. These birds breed in the northern part of the United States and Canada. They actually breed in evergreen trees, and they like to make their nests right on the ends of the branches inside the needles of the tree. This bird, like I said, is a very common bird here in North Carolina. I would say that 80% of the list that I make every year down here in North Carolina in the wintertime, the ruby-crowned kinglet is on it. This bird will spend the winter here. They actually are here pretty late into the spring. They can be an exciting bird to get, especially when it gets later in the spring, because the closer it gets to their migration, the more likely they are to show their ruby crown. And they do this as a demonstration of challenging any kind of threat that's out there. They do this to assert dominance. This bird can be incredibly exciting when you photograph it with that ruby crown. These are a beautiful bird. It's a bird that's got an olive green color to it. It's got a giant head, but it is an incredible bird to photograph. Bird number 4 for you to photograph in North Carolina in the wintertime is the white-throated sparrow. Now, I know I'm going to hear about this from you guys in the comments, and I'm looking forward to reading them. But the white-throated sparrow is a striking bird to photograph. This bird is extremely common. You will find this in your backyard. You will find this at feeders. You will find this along almost every road here in North Carolina where there's any kind of brush and shrubs that they can feed in. They are a very common bird, and I think this is one thing as a bird photographer we have to get out of the habit of ignoring common birds or not taking pictures of common birds, because the white-throated sparrow can be a very striking bird, especially if it's in its breeding colors. It'll have white stripes. The male will have white stripes on top of its head. It will have a white throat and have a little bit of yellow around its bill. This bird can be a exciting bird to photograph, and it can be really rewarding to photograph this kind of bird. So I encourage you to go after them, and I know there are some people out there that a sparrow is a sparrow is a sparrow, but I can't encourage you enough to go out and photograph. Number 5 is the white-crowned sparrow. The white-crowned sparrow is an uncommon bird here in North Carolina. We are on the eastern end of their territory. They do migrate to the southern part of the United States, and most of them can be found much further west than where we are now. But here in North Carolina, it can be pretty exciting when you see a white-crowned sparrow, and photographing this bird can be incredible. They are a striking bird. They have a very clear breast. They are a larger sparrow than most of the other sparrows that we have here in North Carolina. And they have these two beautiful white stripes on the top of their head. If you have the opportunity to go out and photograph this bird, you should really make an effort to do it, especially if you're here in North Carolina, because it's such a rare bird. Common sense would say if you really want to get a picture of it, you should go head west in the United States. But here in North Carolina, the white-crowned sparrow is definitely a bird you want to get. And the bonus bird is the golden-crowned kinglet. The golden-crowned kinglet is a fairly rare bird here in North Carolina. They breed in the central part of Canada, and they migrate to the United States in the wintertime. Now, if they will migrate to North Carolina, it depends a lot on the weather further north. So if it's brutally cold further north or a lot of snow, they will migrate further south to get away from that weather. And if it's brutally cold here, they'll even migrate even further south. So photographing a golden-crowned kinglet here in North Carolina can be difficult and challenging. I have seen very few golden-crowned kinglets. I've yet to see one this year here in North Carolina, and they are incredibly difficult to photograph. They tend to be a little higher in the forest than the ruby-crowned kinglet, and they are much more secretive than the golden-crowned kinglet. I mean the ruby-crowned kinglet. So the golden-crowned kinglet is an incredibly rewarding bird to photograph. If you do hear about one in your area, you really should make an effort to get out there and try and photograph it. It can be an incredibly rewarding bird to photograph. So I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel because that really helps us in the YouTube world. Become a Patreon supporter. Your support allows us to keep doing this. My name is Leahy, and thank you for watching.